order. The Jackson County Commission work session, October 2nd, 2017. I'd like to ask Mr. Manning, if he would, to do a roll call to establish quorum.
District 1, Mr. Guffey. District 2, Mr. Venable.
Present.
District 3, Ms. Gilbert.
Present.
And District 4, Mr. Sis.
Present.
Chairman also present.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Manning. Would, Mr. Porter, would you give them a call?
God, we're blessed. We know we're blessed, but we also are, and we're thankful for our safety. But God, we pray especially right now for those folks in Las Vegas, those that have been injured, those in the family of those that have been killed. We just pray you'll be with them, watch over them, guide them, give them comfort and peace as we know that you can. But also, God, help us understand the troubles that our country and our world are in. We're just so thankful that that we have not experienced anything like that in our county. We pray you'll continue to watch over us and guide us and direct us every day. Keep us safe. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. Venable, would you lead us to the pledge?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have no public comments from the citizens, and so first thing we'd like to give an approval of the agenda. We have 4 things on the agenda today. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay, we'll go ahead for the discussion. The first one on the item for to be discussed is electronic processing program. And this is something that probably Judge Manning is here to discuss with us today.
Well, what this is, isn't it? Okay, so Senator Livingston was one of the people, I think, one of the sponsors of this bill. What the Secretary of State's done is he's allowing people to file an LLC online. So they have a form. You can't submit it until it's filled out in its entirety. Once it is, you can submit it. You can pay online. Obviously, the Secretary of State will collect our $54, which we turn around and send to you all. So we get our money and it's filed electronically. A lot of counties have already been doing electronic recording, which we're in the process of getting ready to do that. So it's the same premise. It's not going to cost us anything. They're going to collect their money, and this, like I say, this is something that Senator Livingston was one of the sponsors of. So we would like to do it. We want to do it. It'll make it easier for people. If a person wants to fill out an LLC online, they'll have to come down here, stand in line, and pay for something to be recorded. Do y'all have any questions?
Do we know when the money, you say they'll collect it, when
Weekly.
will it be distributed quarterly?
They'll do it weekly, no. We'll get a report every day. And there's not a ton of LLCs filed. But they have to have their name reservation first, and then once they have all that, they fill out it, and it gets recorded electronically. But we'll get a check weekly from them if there's been 2
I just know
that's
there's
done.
some things Bob sees 1 month and then not for 6 months and then 2 months in a row.
I mean, this will be just like our recording, so there's no guarantee. So when we get it, and then we pay monthly. Everything we submit to the county monthly, and everybody
I
else.
was about to say, not you, say.
Yeah. Any questions?
So basically all this is just, in order to get it online and fill it out, and they'll have to come over here and walk in and do it.
Any more discussion? Well, if there's no objection, we'll place this on as an item on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I have the poll pad stuff too. Do you want me to wait?
Yes, that's right. Okay, the next item for discussion is the radio tower surplus. I think last time we had one person bid, and I think Mr. Sis,
I did, I had it tabled right there, and I talked to the guy, but he's not available to go look at it. He was definitely interested in it, because he was looking to put a base tower up in his office, but go ahead and move forward with it, because
Okay.
He said he'd know it'd probably be sometime in November before he can make a ranch team look at it.
Okay. Any more discussion on?
Sorry about that, but I knew he was looking for one, that's the reason I tabled that.
Well, if there's no objection, we'll place this on the agenda for the next meeting then. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the downtown horticulture fund. And I think you'll see in the packet. Basically, Chairman Hodges and myself met with the mayor over here the other day, and you'll see they're getting ready to want to go ahead and plant all the shrubs and the trees and so on there. And they give us a cost of everything on that back sheet, with what all of it is gonna cost. The only thing that is an estimate there is the freight. It could be plus or minus, that's just an estimate on how much it costs to get it here. What they plan to do is stage all this stuff once it comes in over here behind the bake shop in that parking lot where they're gonna do, just gonna have it there. And then when they do the project, they plan to do it on 2 weekends, where it won't pay for commerce through the business week. And what they're asking for is for us to go ahead and pay the $25,000 to put it in that horticulture fund to have, and then there'll be money left over so they can plant fall flowers and spring flowers, whatever it may be, come out of that fund. They're also going to be selling plaques, memorial plaques on some of these trees that are planted, and that money will also go into that fund that will help plant flowers and so on, and improvements in the future on it. But they're just asking for the $25,000 put in the fund.
This for both sides of the street, or is it just for the inside flower beds, or
You talking about for the springtime?
No, for all of it, the trees, like at one time we were responsible for the in and that city's responsible for the outs.
Nothing was said about that. This is just for getting them planted. This is going into a fund where this initial thing is to get them all planted, and
this is gonna be the total cost of it?
yes, other than the estimate on the freight.
They're asking us to pay for all but 10,000 of it?
From my understanding is the city has allocated $25,000, and in previous conversations before my time here, the commission jointly agreed to put $25,000 into this account. And out of this account, this money will be paid out of, and the monies left over will stay in the account for future improvement.
Okay, I understand.
We mentioned that freight, now this clay pot's got on here 34.55, 10.
It is, and that's the part that's estimate.
That's the estimate?
Yeah, it could be more, it could be less. That was just the closest they could get to it. Freight couldn't give them the exact cost at that time. Any more discussion about putting the $25,000 in the account as previously discussed with the city?
This clay pot, that's the one that's gonna be doing it?
That's the contractor.
Okay. I thought Largen had it all, I knew they was putting part of it in, I thought Largen was the one that was doing this tree planting too. So.
Now, Jason, going back to your question, some of the items listed on the original project are not in the clay pots in this part. I see some holly and hydrangeas and the grass, so we need that. And some of the crepe myrtles look like they may be listed. So is this the overall project then, the first part? They've already done some of it?
They don't plant any trees or anything.
Sure, I was looking, it don't match up with the clay pot deal, does it? Or is there more on the front sheet than there on the back?
Right.
One of 29, the other 36, so that's what I'm trying to
It's
figure out.
just some of the names, and I know they've already put down some of the sides, so I didn't know if that's included in it. It's not, because that's that.
I don't think that sod is,
No, that's not on there.
involved in here.
Well, we've got till next week though to ask questions, so we can. Y'all wanna just go ahead and put it on the agenda in the meantime, if we have to table it next week?
Right, yeah, that's what I just agreed to do.
Yeah,
there's some questions that don't.
Okay, if there's no objection, we'll pursue this and put it on the agenda for the next regular meeting. And as further discussion, you want me to get more information concerning it?
Yeah, if you could just get clarified, is just what they sent out for bid, and why is there more items on this spreadsheet than this spreadsheet?
Right, there's no holly listed on clay pot, there's no ferns.
Of course, this first sheet doesn't have any freight up there either on this, and the second one does.
Yeah, but you're looking at a lot of items that they plan to put
19
in.
items on that one sheet, right there on that first spreadsheet, the other one got 7.
I don't know much about plants. Some of this may be for fall planting that are annual instead of perennial.
And I'm not seeing any
I
annuals.
think this right here is.
These are mostly shrubs and, yeah, just trees and shrubs. I don't even see anything that's really considered.
And they may have scaled it back because of cost.
They could have.
A lot of times when we estimate something and get bid out, and
Or they may have ran out of real estate. They may not have ended up with as much places to put things in the end as they thought originally.
And also maybe, if I could add, it maybe these are the things that are gonna get in the clay pot. These look like permanent fixtures, and well, the grass should be too, and the hollies.
The hollies and-
if you could just get some clarification.
Okay.
I
We'll
would
put it,
add one other thing.
Okay, go ahead.
If I may, Mr. Chairman. On this sheet here, the longer sheet that's Scottsboro Square, if you'll look down to the October Glory Maple, all those items from there down are on the first, are on this big sheet,
Yeah, big one.
but the rest of them are not.
None of the grass.
None
or
of those
anything
up
like
above it are on there, and also, this second sheet has the 15% markup in there. And see, the markup nor the freight either is on the other sheet, so it's just, they're having a hard time, I guess, tying those
Yeah,
together.
they may have bid that, this may have been what they sent out for bid, and they came in way higher than the $50,000, and then they
That's
scaled
what I
it
was-
back and rebid it. So if you just get the
A
clarification.
little more information, because we got the labor added on, we got the 15% markup and the freight.
And they may have took that top part to their meeting and paid out of their 25 that they were talking about too. They may have split it right there or something.
okay, we'll move on. We'll get this put on the agenda for the next meeting. Okay, the next thing that we have is the agreement with ALDOT. And Mr. Campbell, I think you
Thank you,
have
Chairman,
any information for
Commissioners.
that.
Yes, sir. In your packet, please find the agreement, federal aid agreement. This is between ALDOT, acting as the state of Alabama and Wood County. And this agreement covers the requirements for us and them for previously approved resurfacing of County Road 63. And that resurfacing project, as you probably remember, goes from the Marshall County line to Hodges Street in the town of Woodville.
That's the main road turning in and going by the stadium.
Yes, ma'am. So this is the dollars breakdown, you'll see that there on the agreement. And this is our standard agreement with them to utilize federal aid funds for our resurfacing project.
This is a section of road that we decided to do when we had the issue with 33 and the railroad track. We cut part of that off, and I remember that.
It was the one that followed up 33 phase 2. Yes, sir. So it'll be this project in 42.
Okay, do we have any more discussion on this? Well, if there's not any more discussion, if no objection, we'll pursue this and put it on the agenda for the next meeting. That concludes all of the items for discussion on today's agenda. We have a report from the staff. Mr. Arnold?
Just want to point out to you guys, our website, if you get any questions, I know you guys get questions that don't have nothing to do with you, because I get them that don't have nothing to do with me, but on our website, we changed our maps. We no longer use Flagship GIS, it's now KCS. We're really excited about it, really tickled about how it come out. So our maps, if you go online to view maps, property searches or anything like that. It's a lot more tools. We got our topo maps on there now. We got our flood maps on there now. So all that stuff, it's different. People don't like change sometimes, but if some of you commissioners get calls and say, hey, why'd y'all change the website? We did that. But it's for the better, and I think the Jackson County we're headed to the future with this new website. Really tickled about it.
I've seen some of the improvements and they are good, they really are. Judge Manning?
Yes, sir. I finally got some information on the poll pads, electronic poll pads. I know we've talked about it several times. That's the quote there. Told y'all it was gonna be somewhere around the $30,000 range, and it's 37. I believe I have about 33. I'll have to get you an exact number on that. And we had talked about it the last meeting I was at. I think Mr. Guffey had set up to like $5,000. Is that right?
We said
So,
not to exceed 5,000.
yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna be able to do it for that. And I'll get you an exact number on that, okay? So it may be a little more, we may have a little more than 33. But these will be bid out of a professional services. It's not gonna be bid, it's a professional services purchase. We don't have to do the bid law, we don't have to do anything. We don't follow that. I got an Attorney General's opinion for that, specifically for that. So, you all have any questions? Y'all think about it. I know you're not going to vote to do it. I don't know if you need a vote to do it. I don't know how all that stuff works, but like to have them by December if we could for that election, so that people could use them in a slow election before we get into the busier ones. But this is like you talked about. It's not going to be everywhere it's 5. We set the line at 500. So every polling place that had 500 or more will get one of these. 35 is, I know that sounds like a lot more. We got about 37 polling places, but that's 12 in Scottsboro. All right, so you take 12 of that, that's how many is needed for there. This includes a router that will help each of those communicate. We've had the problem before they wouldn't communicate, so this includes a router where they'll all communicate with each other. The training and all that stuff.
Bob, if I'm not mistaken, we budgeted that 5, right?
We did.
So he just has to move forward?
Yeah, I think at the time we discussed it, we just said not to exceed 5,000.
So
Did we take action on it? Did we?
Yeah.
it's just in the budget?
Yeah.
In the general,
Put that
it's
in
part of
the
the
budget,
budget?
Was it voted on?
In the final numbers that.
Yeah, it's just in the budget, so then he can
In the
spend it
regular
as.
That's needed.
This won't require action.
Shouldn't have, you've already approved it, it's in the budget.
Right, should be.
And I've got that Attorney General opinion. So one of the other judges did, I didn't get it. One of the other judges did concerning this, okay.
Down at the bottom of this, Judge, it's got a $3,465 maintenance fee. Is that gonna be every year? Or do you have any idea what that?
It looks to me like that's good for a year, and apparently it's an optional thing, so we can either get it or not. I know with this, if we put it in with an election expense, which is possible, then you get the reimbursements off of it. You probably don't have to, but if they start tearing up, then we gotta start paying to have them fixed. So, just my suggestion is if we do that, then we would put this in an election budget. To do that in an election each year, just like with the machines, they're maintenance.
If we have anything else that's added on, we'll have to vote on that.
Yeah, this is included for the first year.
Yeah.
So, you just need to think about that for the next year. So if you want it, you don't have to get a maintenance agreement if you don't want to. So.
Okay, well, it's already in place, so we don't have to put it in the next meeting.
Right. We should have to worry about it next fall.
You have anything else for me?
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Sheriff Phil? Well, that concludes everything with today's agenda. Oops, go ahead. Any more discussion?
I was just gonna give some quick updates on activities throughout the county, if that's okay. On the construction activities, some cross drain replacements are happening this week on County Road 169. And that's a closure that you may have seen in the paper. And that'll last, happens today, or is happening today, and that's 1 day duration, hopefully they finish. 28, the bridge approaches there, that'll also happen this week, that'll be a 1 day closure. And then County Road 8, full depth reclamation, that's That's a local road resurfacing project, as you probably recall, and 1.5 miles of that road, we're actually reclaiming that roadway. So there's going to be a problem with travel through in there. We're getting them through, but when that reclaimer runs through, it's got a lot of material there that vehicles we have to handle with care on how they get through there. So next week, County Road 38, another cross drain replacement. That'll be a one-day duration as well, and then some other projects on 38 guardrail at the end of that reception project that's upcoming. On the service side of activities, Bryant, Bridgeport, Dutton section of Pleasant View will all receive patching this week, and then we're doing 3 driveway inspections and getting those lined up this week on the service end. And then on our vegetation and mowing, with mowers are in Fackler, Womble area, and we're boom mowing and asphalt Dutton and Stevenson. In our herbicide activities, we're doing some guardrail treatments, spraying the mountain gaps, and then side trimming behind the boom mowers. That's it for the maintenance side of the operations, and then on the engineering side, they're still filing out County Road 33 payroll and filing out 213 Red Creek Bridge project. We're also studying County Road 497 for a speed limit evaluation on the citizen request, and they're working on the project engineering record on County Road 42 to get those preliminary documents moving on that upcoming resurfacing project. And then project-wise, on the engineering side of things, hopefully Charles Watts will take off with a local road resurfacing. That's planned to start next week, and they were issued their notice to proceed today. And then also opening next week is the County Road 92 Bridge Rehab Design Build Project that we're planning, so we're looking forward to those bids and got our fingers crossed on both of those upcoming projects. Also on the table, I placed a couple of photos. One of those is actually the reclaimer working today on County Road 8, so you can kind of see what's going on there. The base was compromised on that whole 1.5 miles, so we're reconstructing that road. And then the drainage structure, that was some drainage work that was ahead of our planned resurfacing on County Road 155. So once the work is complete on 8, then we'll resurface that consistent with this year's local road resurfacing plans, but that'll be done in-house with county forces. That's it.
Okay. Mr. Manning, you have anything?
Nothing today, thank you.
Mr. Porter?
Everything fixed.
Ms. Gill?
No, sir.
Mr. Sis?
No, sir.
Ms. Fenn? No, sir. Well, again, I think this concludes everything on the agenda today. I entertain a motion that we adjourn.
I'd like that motion, we'll adjourn.
We have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
Mr. Ashley, this item 3 in the agenda, here, your downtown horticulture fund, y'all are talking about approving $25,000. Is that inclusive of the $50,000 the city has already approved as of last Monday for that project?
The 20, in my understanding that they were expecting us to put in $25,000 in that fund. I was told by the mayor that they had put $50,000 in the fund, but 25 was just coming from us to go in that fund.
So it's gonna be a 25-25 split then?
That's as I understood it. I think they were just wanting to move on with the project in case the plans got here sooner than later.